Good afternoon, Caesar. It's a pleasure to meet you virtually here.
Please be patient. I'm using a computer to help me communicate.
Understood. Work is going well today. Yeah, it's been a busy day.
How are you today?
I am doing well. It is been a busy day. There's a lot of things going on. But yes.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough storage space on my computer, but we are good.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever works best. I think you're recording this, so that should work hopefully for us to have this conversation.
I'm sorry about that.
Do we want to still have this conversation, or do you need to get more storage to be able to record our conversation?
Yeah, first question.
Well, oh.
Yes, we were still talking for today because you are very busy right now.
Well, that's fine, Caesar. I appreciate that, and again, look forward to this conversation today. So that's great.
mm, mm.
Good afternoon. How are you today? Sir, welcome to my podcast, and I am a National Farm Broadcasters Association member.
That is great, and appreciate the work. I'm glad to hear that you're a member of NAFB and the American Soybean Association. And me personally, I've had the opportunity throughout my career to work with NAFB broadcasters and members. So it's really a pleasure.
First off, how is going with China and trade war on beans?
Yeah, China, our trade with China is doing well. Thankfully, the China trade war and the tariffs and the retaliatory tariffs have been suspended right now. And so for the last 2 years, our exports have come back and we are able to export to China. During the height of the trade war, our soybean exports went down by and prices went down by over 20%. And so China really was only buying from us what they absolutely needed. So we definitely, and soybean farmers definitely felt the impacts of that. Then the United States and China signed an agreement, the phase one agreement, and that allowed those retaliatory tariffs on soybeans to be suspended. And our exports have picked back up. China is the largest importer of soybeans in the world. And so our exports have come back. They aren't all the way back to the highs that they were before the trade war. And what we are seeing is that China is indeed still buying from the United States and still a very important market, but they are, because I think some of the tensions that still exist in between the United States and China on a range of issues, we're still feeling some of those impacts.
I've been not having to hear about it from 2 years ago before COVID-19.
No, that's true, and of course it was in the spring of 2018 that we had the retaliatory tariffs go into effect, and that's when we really had those effects. And then thankfully, it was right before COVID hit that we did sign that phase one agreement with China, which removed those retaliatory tariffs.
Do you think about double crop in soybeans into the middle country?
Yeah, that's been something that we've been certainly supportive of. Our American Soybean Association's policy has been to move that line, that geographic line northward, because we have been seeing with, a changing climate, warmer climates, the ability for producers to double crop, and we've wanted that option for producers. And USDA has responded very well to that, and they actually have gone through a process to really move that line northward. Right now, there's the written agreements are possible without any kind of double cropping history. Basically halfway up into Iowa, I think right along probably the I-80 line, and all the way up into Illinois. And then you can still go even further with some written agreement even further northward up into Wisconsin and Minnesota as well. And so I think USDA is making the opportunity available. And I think, with the prices of wheat and soybeans, where it's possible, producers are going to be taking a look at that.
And also climate change.
Yeah, certainly our producers are seeing the effects from a changing climate. We are, we're having wetter wets, more big rains when it rains, heavier rains over a shorter period of time. Certainly the droughts we know in parts of the country are getting worse. And so, yeah, that it is something that producers are having to deal with. And I think producers are very interested in seeing what can they do to become more resilient in the face of a changing climate, to manage the water when it comes all at once and rapidly, as well as, what can they do to manage their crops in through drier seasons as well. And so farmers very much are having to deal with that.
What is biofuel for the future?
Yeah, we're really excited about the future of biofuels within the soybean industry. We are seeing the growth of the use of renewable diesel. We're seeing expansion of soybean crush capacity that's being driven by increased by demand for soybean oil for use in both food uses, which we traditionally have for biodiesel, and then for renewable diesel, and perhaps into the future, sustainable aviation fuel. And so it's really exciting that we see that. And I think the key point is that biofuels biodiesel, renewable diesel really are a here and now technology that allows us to decarbonize the fuel supply. Removing a ton of carbon today is worth a lot more than it is in the future.
No.
Just tell me about yourself and your career.
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. I am actually a farm boy. I grew up on a farm in southwestern Minnesota, soybeans, corn, and diversified livestock farm. And grew up there, had my undergraduate and graduate degrees in agriculture. And I went to work on Capitol Hill after I graduated from college. Worked on Capitol Hill for a number of years, worked at the Department of Agriculture as a political appointee in both the Reagan and the George H.W. Bush administrations, and then joined the American Soybean Association, where I was director of international marketing, longtime CEO for a number of years, and then had the opportunity a few years ago I was asked to be the Deputy Secretary of Agriculture, and I was confirmed by the U.S. Senate to that position. And so I served as Deputy Secretary of USDA for 4 years. And it's quite an honor to be able to serve America's farmers and ranchers and foresters and consumers in that position. And had the opportunity to come back to ASA and having a lot of fun being back now in my new old role as CEO.
Are you serious? You're working with Ronald Reagan.
Yes, yes, I am serious. When I first went to Washington, D.C. Out of college, working for a senator from South Dakota, Ronald Reagan was president. And then when I first joined USDA as a young 25-year-old, 26-year-old, yes, Ronald Reagan was president. So I've been involved in agriculture and public policy around agriculture my entire career.
Close to Tampico, Illinois.
All right, so you're certainly, I know, in farming country and know about agriculture. I also understand from a little bit of my reading about you as well, Caesar, that you are quite the gardener as well and have a huge garden, so that you're a producer as well. So I appreciate your work, and you know all about the issues that farmers have to deal with, being too wet, too dry, fighting pests and weeds.
Thanks. I am a farmer and college student.
Yeah, and I understand that you're pursuing a degree in agriculture, so congratulations. And we need good people in agriculture, so I'm really pleased to hear that.
Thanks, sir.
Well, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
How about cover crop with row crop?
Yeah, we're seeing, there's more and more farmers that have been experimenting with cover crops and utilizing that. Of course, it doesn't work in all areas, and folks are finding how best to use cover crops. But where farmers are learning, farmers are experimenters, and so we have a lot of that going on. But I think we're going to see a big expansion in the years ahead. And that's thanks in part to, as you know, Caesar, the US Department of Agriculture has just announced almost $3 billion in climate smart commodities grants. And a lot of these grants, some of them, which in some proposals that we strongly supported, some from the United Soybean Board, our soybean checkoff, the National Corn Growers, the National Pork Board, are really looking to expand and work with the use of cover crops throughout the Midwest. Also proposals from the Iowa Soybean Association and others that are focused on use of cover crops for not only removing carbon, but also improving water quality. And I think through these pilot projects, we are going to learn a lot. We're going to learn, farmers are going to learn, we're going to learn what farmers respond well to, what kinds of incentives or what kind of assistance do they need for adoption of climate smart practices. And we're going to learn what moves the needle as well. So I'm very supportive of these pilot projects that USDA has announced.
That's a good deal for Midwest.
Yeah, a lot of these climate smart activities are indeed being focused in the Midwest throughout Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, really all through the soybean and corn belt. There's just a lot of practices that are going to be are going to be implemented.
Can you send your email address because you can post your podcast on your social media?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that, Caesar. I will follow up with you and Wendy. I know that you've been working with Wendy Brannon from our communications director on this. But yeah, I'd be happy to share my email and look forward to sharing the podcast.
You can tell about my podcast and other organizations.
Sure, no, understood. That we can do that. So absolutely.
Thanks for coming. We can do it again with Mike Steenhoek on December.
Well, that sounds great, Caesar. Yeah, it's been my pleasure to join you here today. And yeah, with Mike Steenhoek, what a great asset for the soybean industry and all the work that Mike does on transportation issues. And certainly he's a go-to person for me when we want details on transportation related issues. So Mike's a great one. He's a great guy and a great resource.
No.
What an honor. I have you on my podcast. Talk to you later. Have a fantastic weekend and go Iowa State.
Well, very good, Caesar. Thank you. You have a great weekend as well. And yeah, go Iowa State, your college, and also go St. Louis Cardinals since they're in the wild card game. So you take care. Bye.
Let go, Cubs.
Yes, yeah, Caesar, if you're one of those long-suffering Cubs fans, you're going to have to wait another year. I mean, I know you guys won it all and then traded off all of your players, so I think we'll say generously that you're in the rebuilding phase. But yeah, lots of good rivalry in between the Cubs and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But you take care. And again, it's been a pleasure being with you today. Have a good rest of your day and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Take care. This is Steve C. This ability farmer Cesar Delgado.